Hi everyone, my name's Michael Roper. I'm from Architecture, and I'm presenting one of our projects, Arcadia, which is a renovation for a couple of around my age. They don't have children, but they do often have family and friends come to stay. So at the beginning of this project, our clients provided us with a really beautifully written brief, which was less concerned with the usual, how many bathrooms they wanted, and much more with the kinds of qualities they were looking for in a home. So throughout this presentation, I'm going to be reading extracts from the brief, as well as some of their current reflections on the house to illustrate, their aspirations and our aspirations for the project. And it's worth saying that, we're a practice that values the process of developing projects that really reflect the lives and characters of our clients. So receiving such a beautifully written brief such as this was a bit of a dream for us. So this is the front of the house, but a bit about our clients as written in their brief. Finn is from rural New Zealand. It is a vast landscape with mountains and braided rivers cutting through the plains that wedge them apart. So you can already hear their poetic turn of phrase here. Tim is from the west coast of Australia. The sea is everywhere you look and defines the landscape more than the land itself. As they say in their brief, we come from places where it's impossible to feel hemmed in. You can see for miles and there's always something familiar on the horizon to get your bearings when you're feeling a bit lost. So you can see in these images here how we're really trying to, even though we're in a built-up environment, cast our eyes out to landmarks in the horizon. Also a detail here of the kitchen sink, which is somewhat reminiscent of a wash house in a rural sunroom. So coming from these contexts, they wanted a home connected to notions of landscape. Yet here we are in Brunswick. Our brief focused on creating a place of calm retreat while still maintaining a connection beyond the boundaries of our site. So you can really see the building is very much grounded in the fabric of Brunswick, and yet it's always also casting its eye out to the horizon. As we found it, the Edwardian house was looking pretty tired and had the usual accretion of half-baked extensions. And into the current plan, a patchwork of rooms were retained with new spaces woven through them. So the front two rooms have been restored. This back kind of east-west oriented piece is new, and in between these spaces are some kind of hybrid between the new and the old, nestled in under the existing roof. And from the beginning, we've really conceptualized the house and garden as a single landscape. Rooms were demolished beneath the existing roof to create garden courtyards, indoor, outdoor, and partially covered. These frame the heart of the house, where there are always views to 2 or 3 gardens. These dark masses here, 2 fireplaces have been retained and a new one added. We've understood these to be like relics dotted through the landscape of the house, or of this piece of land. And skylights, shown in yellow here, are their counterpoint. So we have these shafts of mass and these shafts of light dotted through the house, kind of playing off one another. And a meandering path stitches it all together, with rooms, nooks, and gardens along the way. And as they wrote in their brief, we keep coming back to the idea of gradients rather than stark thresholds, which we think is something that we've achieved in this house. Upstairs is a studio apartment for visiting friends and family, with a separate rear lane if they ever want to use it for rear lane access, if they want to use it for Airbnb guests. So coming back to some of the written words in their brief, we don't see the house and garden as 2 separate entities. We've discussed the idea that the whole site functions like a garden path. You can see the indoors and the outdoors continuous with each other here through material palette as well as spatially. And here as well, the way that kind of pathway meanders through the house. With changes in materials, textures, shading, light, and outlook evolving as you move through. so that you feel drawn on to the next space, all the way from the front gate to the laneway out the back. And here you can see how we've used those shafts of light to draw the eye and draw the body to move through the space. Moving through, there's some sense of adventure, some wonder about what comes next. And in this picture here, you can really see how the spaces are always leading you around the next corner, always unfolding, forever promising and revealing something new. And you can see across this internal garden, past the dining area, through this slot window by the kitchen, out into that partially covered courtyard with that remnant fireplace burning in the background. The design means we are always sensing both the urban and natural environments we live in to seek out sun, shade, solitude, or company. And we're really conscious about providing places to both, coming out of our client's brief, both to gather and retreat. So these more encompassing indoor, outdoor gathering areas, but also these smaller, more intimate, more tightly focused spaces as places of kind of quiet retreat and reflection. We don't want a big house that makes us feel like we are rattling around in it when it's just the two of us. We'd like to maintain some sense of intimacy in scale. We want somewhere that will protect us and hold us, but more like an eyrie than a bunker. So you can see the house has this really lovely kind of enveloping, encompassing quality to it, but at the same time, it's still very much throwing itself open to the landscape, which you know we've always understood as being part of those internal living spaces as well. We would like a thoughtful use of textures and colours, natural materials that have character but do not visually overwhelm. And so a natural material palette here of stones, concretes, timbers, steel, and this pigmented bagging on the brickwork. We aren't afraid of materials
1 minute left
that will change with time and use. And so even the pigmented bagging will in time flake away and reveal the recycled cream brick underneath and add that kind of extra layer and texture. Craftsmanship over fashion is something that we care about. Our client's brief was truly our treasure map. The outcome has highlighted to us the value of going deep with our clients to deliver something unique to them and their lives. In this case, Arcadia, a pastoral utopia offering simplicity and contentment. Our summary statement: notions of home are as much a projection of our dreams and memories as they are the bricks and linen cupboards that anchor them. Tangled in the sheets of inner urban Melbourne, Arcadia is a fever dream of pastoral histories. Shafts of light lend weight to rustic walls, burnt-out chimneys dot the landscape, some still burning. Distant views draw the eye, inside and out. The houses are blush with the perpetual hue of an early rise and an early rest.